I'd like to call to order the Upper Allen Township Board of Commissioners meeting for February 18th, 2026. This meeting will be live streamed for those who wish to attend virtually. A recording of the meeting will also be available afterward for anyone who cannot join in real time. At this time, we'd like to have a moment of silence and then pledge allegiance to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice. May we have the roll call?
Commissioner Fairchild,
Present.
Commissioner Overly Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Martin, Commissioner Walsh,
Present.
Commissioner Clark.
We now would like to consider the approval of the minutes for our meeting on January 21st, 2026. Is there, oh, I missed something. I missed our president's announcements, which would be to begin our meeting by welcoming Allison Appleby, who's sitting at the table to your right or left. She just raised her hand. Who joined Upper Allen Township as our new assistant manager on Monday, February 9th. We are pleased to have her as part of the township team. Hope she is getting settled in and look forward to the experience and perspective she will bring to the organization and our community. Tonight also marks the final Board of Commissioners meeting for Lou Fazekas, sitting the opposite end here. And we would like to recognize and thank Lou for his service to Upper Allen Township. Lou originally served as township manager from May 2000 through December 2020 and returned to service in August of 2025 at a time when the township needed experienced leadership. Since then, he has served as township manager and later as interim assistant township manager. Thank you, Lou.
That's as good as it gets.
I have an update on Bishop Bridge. The Pennsylvania State Historic Preservation Office, PA SHPO, is supportive of the bridge being given to the township, with the county providing money for the careful disassembly of the bridge or the cost of demolition provided to the township for its rehabilitation. PA SHPO also recommends careful disassembly of the bridge so that it can be stored and reassembled at a later date. The county has been seeking clarification regarding whether county liquid fuel or $5 registration fee funding can be used for disassembly and storage of the bridge under different scenarios. Clarification was received today that these funds cannot be used unless the bridge will be reassembled and used as a vehicular bridge. At the township level, the new board has heard the public comments at our input session last month and afterwards, and wants to minimize the use of local tax money toward the bridge. Navigating ownership, funding, and regulatory questions is why it's taking longer than some may expect, at this point. I expect there will be a phased approach whereby phase one would be careful disassembly and storage of the bridge, followed by a pause. Phase two would then be dependent on grants and donation received. So that's my announcement and update. And we were at the point of considering our minutes for January 21st, 2026. We have discussion or a motion about the minutes or any corrections first? Or
A minor correction, red number 10, page 10, 1, 2, third paragraph down. Just if we could change the words carbon etiological to carbonate geology.
anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I gave Alexis several
minor spelling things, but I would move the approval of the minutes with the suggestions as noted.
I second that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. We're now at the point of our agenda where we recognize any visitors or public that may wish to speak on an item not on the agenda. And we have Paul Brenneman, Ralph Kleinpeter, and Cheryl Miller signed up. Do you wish to speak on an item not on the agenda? What's that? You can come up and do that now if you wish. You probably need to turn on the microphone. There's a little button there to get the light
Green.
green.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. So then please state your name and your address.
My name is Cheryl Miller and I live at 2406 Rolling Hills Drive. I prepared this not knowing what the outcome was going to be, but I'm still going to read because of my concerns. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Cheryl. I'm a resident of Upper Allen Township. I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned about the renewed effort to preserve Bishop Bridge, a bridge that in reality leads nowhere and will not be accessible for public use. What troubled me most about this is the project was already voted down by the prior board. The decision reflected fiscal responsibility. Now it's suddenly come back, and not because residents asked for it. And the cost of this seems like it could fall directly on families like mine. I just want the board to understand how difficult times are now for families. For instance, last year, my monthly insurance premium through the marketplace was less than $50, and it's gone up to $700 a month. That's a lot of money. We have to think about raising our children who deserve stability, opportunities, and experiences that help them grow. Our kids are involved in local theater programs, activities that give them confidence, community, and joy. But these programs cost money. And usually these are the kind of things that get cut first when we don't have the money to pay for things. These are not luxuries, they're experiences that shape childhood. I brought my youngest child with me tonight because I want you to see who would be directly affected by decisions like this. When taxes rise, it's children like mine, children who rely on community programs, enrichment activities, and stability who lose opportunities. Those choices don't just hit a budget line, they hit real families, real kids, and real futures. For families navigating rising costs, developmental needs, and the everyday pressures of modern life, every dollar matters. If the township would choose to spend tax revenue on preserving a bridge to nowhere, it sends a painful message about priorities. It tells families like mine that our children's opportunities, their enrichment, their sense of belonging matters less than a structure that serves no functional purpose. I want to be clear, I respect history, but this is not a meaningful historic preservation project. It's a costly undertaking with no seemingly public benefit, no community demand, no access plan. If private donors or historical groups want to take this on, that's their choice, but it should not be funded through tax dollars from families who are already stretched thin. Every dollar spent on Bishop Bridge is a dollar taken away from services and programs that actually support the people who live here, especially our children. They deserve a township that invests in their future, not a project that benefits no one. I urge you to reconsider this plan. Please prioritize the needs of families who will feel the impact most. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have written comments, feel free to give them to our executive secretary if you'd like them.
Mr. Kleinpeter or Mr. Brenneman, do you wish to speak? Yes, I did. Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. Hopefully we have our consent agenda now. which is in two sections. We have the manager's consolidated staff report. We have a fire department report, police department report, EMS report, recreation department report, and engineers report. Does any of the commissioners have questions or comments about the staff reports? I did have a question or comment. I directed toward Caldine or Lou. We have a very extensive report from the park director, Chad Krebs. And he has been developing a system that really tracks the labor hours on various projects. And he included, I guess, the report for the entire year. It's like 60 pages. But then it has the hours and then it has like a dollar figure at the end. You know, he's tracking the labor, but he also has some material and cost in there. And I just wondered how that's used internally. Does that go to the accounting department to create, you know, carrying values for capital assets? Or I just wondered what is done with that report.
He was sharing in that report the log that he keeps track of. So I'm not unsure of your question in regards to the finance office side of the numbers there and how that relates to the expenditures on the finance reports for the course.
Right. Is he connecting them like with the budget, or do they become a capital cost?
I mean, is he sending those figures over to Zach? If it is, it's simply in a supporting manner because it's a different report, I should say. So the tracking of hours there is not how we keep for payroll, for example. He is tracking it for projects and how the personnel categories go. So it's just a different way of sharing the data. But it's not used for the finance office side of things. Is that?
Yeah, it helps. And,
Okay. Yes. Just
I've not seen an entire year report previously.
And you may not see it again in that,
Okay.
in that fashion, but it is all there for you to read through at your leisure.
It's helpful, but okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments on managers' reports? Do we have a motion to approve them?
Motion to approve the staff reports.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I don't believe so. That motion carries. The reports are approved. Next, we have consideration approval of bills in the amount of $241,871.52. Do we have any questions or comments about the bills?
Mr. Chairman, I move we pay the bills.
Okay,
I second that motion.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The bills are approved. Next, we have the Public Safety Committee, and this would be a report by Chief Parsons.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. The new P25 radios, which we've mentioned quite a bit, finally yesterday were implemented into our mobile, our vehicles and the portable radios that officers carry on their belts. So that project has finally reached its fruition and they're working very well. So we're connected with that. And I would like to say that we did offer a conditional offer of employment to a gentleman named Dalton Mance. He has accepted, and that is just keeping our ranks filled pending a retirement. So it's not an additional officer, but so we're looking forward to having him continue through our background process and begin the academy in July. So
I think I would comment we're well ahead of schedule in terms of hiring people to fill the upcoming.
correct, sir. Yes, we had 2 retirements in January, and we have 2 officers in the police academy now, and they're slated to graduate in end of June.
Okay.
So
Well, thank you.
thank you.
And then Fire Chief Schomburger.
Yeah, I echo Chief Parsons' happiness with the radio system. Went live yesterday at 9 o'clock. As far as I know, there was no big hiccups or anything, and it sounds really good and it's working well. So maybe the last 10 years paid off and it's good. So, and the only other thing I have is last month was 69 calls and an average of 8.35 personnel per call. So that's up a little bit from the end of last year. So,
Are we continuing to see an effect from offering the stipend?
yeah, I will next month have a report on the current stipend progress. So we discussed a little bit at the public safety meeting this morning, and I will have reports for everybody for the next meeting.
Thank you.
I had a couple.
Sure.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that we had a public safety meeting this morning and Commissioner Overly Smith and I attended that. And I just want to say for anyone that wants to hear, and even if you don't, Upper Allen Township has the best assembly of public services of anywhere in this county, in this state, maybe in the nation. I mean, they are damn good. And we have an all-volunteer fire department that comes out. We're helping with the incentive program, but I think that's well received. We have 22 people already participating in that. They're going out all kinds of day and night with an all-volunteer force, and they provide good service. So we can't thank you enough for that. And I might just mention, one of the things that was discussed this morning that perplexed me was that if you are a business or homeowner and have a fire hydrant that borders your property, it is your responsibility to keep it cleared from snow. And during this last snow, admittedly, maybe snow's an unusual thing in the last year or two, but it is the responsibility of that individual or that business. So I hope that, and we're going to try to do, staff is doing some educational things to remind people of that, but that is a responsibility. And then, of course, our police department, as Chief Parsons indicated, we have people in the academy now, another one to go into the academy so that next, in 2027, we will have trained officers ready to fill in for those people that retired. Again, proactive planning and just an indication of the quality of our force. And EMS, even though we're served by Penn State Health, they consider to be responsive. They enjoy working with staff, indicated that they have one of the best of all the municipalities they serve. This staff interactively and being supportive is probably the best around. So overall, Mr. Fairchild, I just want to give kudos out to those agencies. They're doing a bang up job.
Yep. Appreciate your enthusiasm.
You're welcome.
So, next we have the Planning and Zoning Committee. Mr. Weld.
Yeah, nothing for you tonight. We will have something in March, a couple things, but tonight, nothing.
I did have a question. It appeared in the minutes about the Stratton Homes townhouse project that the staff participated in the PennDOT discussions throughout that process. Was I reading that right?
Scott Finkenbeiner, he was in the Zoom call that they had for that. Yes.
So that's like the scoping meeting?
Yes.
They were participating. Okay. Well, thank you. And this would be directed to Keldine. We were seeking information from PennDOT as to whether what the exact status of the highway occupancy permit was, or if they had any additional concerns, or.
I do not have an answer this evening. I have reached out to them, but I do not have a reply in hand to report at this time.
So next we have our Public Improvement Committee, and which could be either Keldine or Mike. And we have a change order for the McCormick Bridge, the box culvert bridge on McCormick Road. Or maybe Jason is going to discuss that.
Yes, the next item relates to a change order for the Bridge 105 McCormick Road. During construction, we uncovered an underground electric utility line. The utilities unfortunately weren't marked during the initial construction. They were exposed midway through the bridge replacement project. It caused us some delay, and unfortunately, we did need to employ the services of our contractor in conjunction with PP&L to excavate trenching, install additional junction boxes, and relocate that existing utility in order to facilitate the bridge construction. There is a change order in result of that, in the amount of $50,942.90. That change order is in addition to the base contract of $217,800 for a total revised value of $268,742.90.
If I can just add something real quick, we did get a grant from the county, so they'll cover up to 50% of those costs. The change order, we have to verify to see if in fact we're going to get reimbursed 50% for that particular change order, but I know we do have a bridge grant that covers the McCormick Bridge improvements.
Yeah, and we are under the amount. They offer up to $200,000. What are we at, 126 or something? So
It's 50% of whatever those costs are, a maximum of, I believe, 250,000.
100.
okay. We have any further discussion about the change order? Do we have a motion? Jason, were you going to say?
I just wanted to note that there is a numerical error in the memo that is before you. So the amounts that I offered are correct. So if there's a motion this evening to approve the change order, please ensure that it is in the amount of $50,942.90.
Thanks for the tip.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Kinsey Construction Change Order Number 1 in an amount not to exceed $50,942.90.
Okay. We have a second.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. The motion carries. Change order is approved. Next, we have this item 4B on our agenda, authorization to advertise the 2026 curb ramps replacement projects. This is under the Community Development Block Grant Program, where we received a grant from the county previously that was good for, I believe, 3 years. Anyway, we are looking at we have a grant for $135,000, and I believe we're looking at $85,000 worth of work for these ramps that will be along Geneva Drive and Nanrock Drive. Do you have anything additional to add to that, Jason, or the staff?
I don't believe so. It's the scope of work is fairly clear, as you stated. We do intend to utilize the full grant amount of $135,000 that's being offered through the county program as part of this contract. The $85,000 is the reoccurring annual fund balance that we try to allocate for our ongoing efforts to replace ADA ramps throughout the township. So that those funds will actually be directed toward some other ramp improvements that we have in our annual roadway improvement project. And some percentage potentially will go towards the CDBG project, depending on what those final bid results come in as.
Thank you. And in our public improvement meeting yesterday, I believe it was Chaldean suggested doing the curb cuts separately. Is that what I heard? Or?
What I suggested was, looking forward, if we have additional areas that might need curb cuts or ramps replaced down the road that are not connected to the project and the plans that are currently in place, that maybe we work ahead with some local contractors to do some smaller projects or individual, just small groups.
All right, thanks for the clarification. So do we have a motion about authorizing
I move that we authorize the appropriate township staff to advertise a bid for curb ramp replacement.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the sanitary sewer system report, if any.
I'll just
which
make
was in our
a brief
packet.
comment on that. As you know, we have two projects budgeted for this year. Pump Station 3 upgrade, which I think is a CoStarz project, and Grantham, or Gettysburg Pike and Lisburn Road down by the convenience store, pipe replacement down there. We budgeted both of those. The Gettysburg Pike Lisburn Road was 400,000 and the Pump Station 3 was $412,668,000. And both of those should be coming in for the board to move ahead with the next couple months.
The last sewer advisory board meeting was canceled, so maybe they're a little behind in sharing some of the knowledge, but it's in the report. And I believe GHD would be working on the design for the pipe
That's correct.
replacement. Yep, that's the sewer engineer.
You're right.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you. And then the administrative committee, we have a budget update. It's in our packets. Does staff or do any commissioners have any questions about it, or do you have an additional comment? Geraldine, I know we've been working on improving the presentation.
Yes, per the recommendation of Commissioner Fairchild, we tried a different format. And that is how it's presented in your packet this month. If there's any comments or suggestions of any changes or something different or additional that you would like to see, we can implement that for the upcoming meetings.
Is Zach still, this is a graph that's included in the report, a graph for what? General fund, sewer fund, capital reserve, and stormwater.
Yes.
The four accounts we're touching on. We want to highlight, and is Zach still preparing that monthly report for all, what is it, 17 funds? Of
Yeah,
the revenues, expenses. I mean, he
Yeah.
has to have some data to be able to generate the graph, so.
yes, he
So
is.
if any of us want that, we can. ask for
Correct.
and-
That is available.
Okay.
Yes. As I said, we can create anything that you would like to see in whichever format you would prefer.
So it's as much the board wishes as to what's most, easily digestible, for them, that makes you feel confident that you're keeping abreast of what is happening.
It's helpful to have them broken out in these three major funds, but I kind of like I wouldn't mind seeing the consolidated monthly budget too, in terms of that report that you had. Hate to make more paper, but if he's preparing it anyway,
Right.
why doesn't he
Thank you.
include it?
That's what
Yeah.
I was. Okay. All righty. Next we have Parks and Recreation. Do we have any report from staff? No.
No additional comment?
All right. Solicitor update.
Earlier today, there was a court approval of the settlement of the CVS tax assessment appeal. So the assessed value for that property is going to reflect a market value of $4,375,000. That figure is halfway between the property owner's appraisal and an appraisal that the school district procured. So all parties agreed to settle halfway between the appraisals, and there was a stipulation signed yesterday that was approved by the court today that ends that appeal.
Okay. Thank you. Tax Collection Committee update.
Nothing to report?
Okay. Capital Region COG update.
No update.
No update. Municipal Advisory Board update.
Report?
No report. Pennsylvania State Association of Township Commissioners update.
No report.
No report. You guys are easy. So anyway, we're down to, again, a public comment period. If anybody has any additional public comment for us, the lady in the back, raising her hand.
Evening. My name is Deborah Stafford. I live at, 816 Flintlock Ridge Road. First, I'd like to say that I appreciate that the board acknowledges residents' serious concerns regarding using taxpayer monies for Bishop Ridge. I do want to request some clarification on what Commissioner Fairchild said tonight. I'm not sure I heard clearly the comments regarding the County Historic Board, I think it was, and looking into funding for the disassembly of the bridge. I wasn't sure if you said that they had agreed to that or they were just looking into that. So I just wanted some clarification as to what you had said. And also, you mentioned that the fuel tax cannot be used unless the bridge is approved for vehicular use, which, as I recall, was already stated at the forum. So I'm just wondering if that inquiry was made because there's consideration that perhaps the scope of the bridge would be no longer to be for vehicular use, because I know at the forum the discussion was that it would be. So I'm wondering if the request was to see if it still could be used because you're maybe considering it not being for vehicular use. So those are just my two questions. Thank you.
Yeah, it was basic. Do you want to come back up, Deborah? I mean, I didn't want to make sure I addressed what your concern.
I'm just going to
Make
listen
sure
back there.
It was basically clarification from PennDOT.
Okay.
About whether it could, the question was asked different ways, but whether the money, the liquid fuel money could be used for demolition, could be used for careful disassembly. And apparently it can be, but only if it is used for vehicular use, which was the previous intent. So I don't think we've changed from that.
So we can use liquid fuel for careful demolition with the understanding that it'll be reassembled for vehicular use.
Yes.
Is there a
Yeah.
timeline on that? I never.
No, that was the other thing we were hoping to get clarification on. We don't quite have it. And that's why we've been a little not clear on some of this because we're, waiting from the official, sources to kind of help give us guidance.
Okay. And on the historic board, what was it that you said exactly they were still looking into? They were interested in having a Save Bishop Bridge and they were considering that they would put money towards that?
It was a recommendation from the State Historic Preservation Office.
That we should save it, but not that
That it be saved.
that it be saved,
Yeah.
but not that any
And
money was
careful.
available.
Right, that would come from somewhere else, a different department, or possibly them in the future, but.
Okay, so you're still
basically-
researching that, but it wasn't from them. I just wasn't,
That was their
okay,
recommendation.
I wasn't clear exactly
And
what you
they
said.
made that, and then they help oversee and coordinate with the county as to
Okay.
what is to be done.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. My question was, if the board were to take action to demo the bridge and store it and then reconstruct it, what is the timeline from demolition and storage until it has to be reconstructed?
I think that's unknown, can be a very long period of time.
Well, I just
Yeah,
assumed
I
there'd
mean-
be some.
Well, we don't know. I mean, we were trying to, like you say, minimize any local taxpayer dollars toward it. So I
So
think
is there-
it would rest on donation and grants.
Okay,
at-
I'm just
at phase
assuming
two.
if there's going to be money put toward the demolition, I would think the expectation from them would be that it be reconstructed. So, but maybe not. I haven't been involved in those discussions, but I didn't know if you had any clarification on that. If there was in fact a time limit.
We're still working on the time angle, but I thought you meant in terms of we've identified there should be different phases and not to try to undertake the whole thing at one time. So I hope that answers your.
But at this point, no action is moving forward before it comes back to this board.
No, I mean, we're discussing it. We
Yeah,
need it
okay, yeah.
based on and some of this we just got today, we need to have a further discussion with the county. And
Okay.
actually, we're hoping for a little more clarification from some of the state agencies. But anyway, any other comment? We have one coming up.
Real quick,
Well, you should come up here, sir. Give us your name and address.
you had deconstruction, you had storage,
Name it.
and you had reassembly.
Name it.
Are those all coupled together? Are we gonna be stuck with a bill if there's storage?
Get his name.
You
and
need
address.
your.
Vito Virgulus, 19 Elm Drive.
Okay.
in the beginning of your presentation, you said it was deconstruction,
It was
storage,
disassembly.
disassembly.
Right.
And, storage and then reassembly. Are they all coupled together under the fuels tax? Because let's say something goes south and we're stuck with storage fees like any tow car. Are we gonna be paying that as a taxpayer because the liquid fuels tax can no longer be used at some point in time when reason prevails?
The township would store the bridge. We're not paying anyone to store it per se.
Where are we storing this bridge at? If they're taking it to their company, which I heard the guy from the company on the thing, they're gonna be wanting to store it there. We're not gonna sit there and wait around. They're gonna take it to their
I
company.
thought
after
we
they
discussed
deconstruct
that
it.
at the public forum. I mean, we're building a public works building on Bumblebee Hollow Road. It's in our budget for this year.
And we're gonna use the public works building to store a bridge?
No, that could be part of it, but it's basically to get the very valuable equipment we have inside, such as the leaf collection machines and so forth. So that is
That's
the
the bridge,
location.
the
We're not
upper-
even sure it's going to be inside because the equipment's already spoken for, the square footage in terms of the equipment needs.
So the leftover square footage, instead of putting something there for public works storage, we're gonna store a bridge, is what you're telling me.
No, that's not what I told you at all, sir.
The opportunity to use the storage space. You mean the company's not gonna take it back when they deconstruct this, when they
I don't
disassemble
believe
it?
at this point, if we reduce the scope of work to careful disassembly and storage, why should they store it when we have our own location?
We don't.
We do. We will have in the future. We are working
You all
on that.
unanimous in this? This is a train wreck.
It's part of the budget and I believe it's on the website. It's been discussed before that there's been a long-term need for a public works building to have more cover for the equipment. We have 10 acres of Bumblebee Hollow Road. I just thought more people were aware of that. Okay, anyone else?
I wasn't going to speak, but Commissioner Fairchild, we can't hear back there. I was wondering if you could put what you said about the bridge in writing so we can understand what you're saying. We can't hear. You have a very low tone voice.
Okay, sorry about that.
We just can't hear you.
Closer.
Second question, I guess I have a question. Am I allowed to ask a question?
You should really take and introduce yourself.
Ralph Kleinpeter. I live next to the bridge, Bishop Road. Given the overwhelming participation in the forum, is the board still considering pursuing this bridge?
I can't speak for the whole board. I mean,
I'm just curious.
We've been seeking.
I haven't seen any
information.
support for it anywhere. I'm just asking why we're wasting all this time if there's no support. That's my question.
I think we need to get further information to help make our decision. I think we've given guidance that we don't want to impact the local taxpayers. We've set.
But you're
different
still considering
parameters.
it, is what I heard. You have a report here tonight.
Yeah, it isn't us just considering, it's the state agencies who are
Okay.
directing a lot of the activity.
Okay, well, I just need to review that because I couldn't hear what you
I
were saying.
have this.
Okay,
I don't know
great.
If we can make quick copies, but
Okay,
I'm
great.
happy to give you my copy.
Okay, and do you have a schedule for start to finish?
No, not at this point.
Nothing. And is the firm that you had here for the forum, are they still in play?
I believe so. I mean, I think we discussed that we would have to send it out again for an RFP.
Okay.
If we do anything.
Okay,
And
well, I was just curious.
Suggestions at the meeting about,
Yeah,
business
well,
plan and bonding, and I
Right,
think there's
right.
consensus of anything that there needs to be.
So we don't know what the cost would be to demo the bridge? What our budget is?
I think we have a good idea
Which is
that it would be similar to what they had proposed before.
400,000.
Yeah,
And the county can do it for 180.
I'm not sure of that myself. Yeah,
Well,
I know you're in that business. and
Well, they
you
bid
read it.
12, they had 12 bids. The low bid was 180,000.
Well, I mean.
Okay, I just wanted a clarification, that's all.
But here's my statement, Ralph. You can just
Okay.
take that one.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it. Can you
but-
make copies?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you make copies? All right, because we can't hear. I must be losing my hearing.
Thanks.
Or Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We have another lady who'd like to speak.
Quick. I'm Lynn Peltz. She knows me, I think. I know people, I'm not in
We need
favor.
your address.
Oh, my address, 621 East Winding Hill Road.
Thanks.
People had talked about, well, there'll be state money, there'll be federal money to help with this bridge. I'm not in favor of the bridge. I love old things. I've done rebuilt house and stuff. But right now, with the administration we have, with the way federal and state funds are fluctuating, I don't think it's a good time to bet on having additional funds to pay for anything other than our day-to-day needs. We just can't bet on it. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe we could have said, oh, well, there'll be money, but I just don't think we can. And that's been in my head ever since I heard about this project. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty.
I have something, if anybody else does.
Yep.
I wanted to bring the following to the attention of the Upper Island Township residents. You may know that there's a housing coalition in Cumberland County. It's a county-wide collaborative made up of community members in and around the county with a shared goal of housing for all. And as a concerned Cumberland County resident, I volunteer with them and help to complete their point in time count, which they have in January. That's a count of sheltered and unsheltered people experiencing homelessness on a single night in January. And HUD requires that the groups involved in this continuum of care conduct that annual count for people experiencing homelessness, for people who are sheltered in an emergency shelter, transitional housing, and safe havens all in that single night. And recently, the coalition provided a report out from their January 2026 point in time count of people who are homeless. 51 volunteers traveled in teams, clocked 100 hours for this count. They had 2 shifts, the first from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. The second shift was 11:30 p.m. to 3 a.m. 112 people who were unsheltered were found in the county, in Cumberland County, and some were homeless veterans, some are homeless that are discharged from hospital treatment. And volunteers attempt to get the people into some types of housing when they find them, and they have little go packs for them and some things for them at that time. Some people are sleeping in cars because their jobs don't pay enough to afford rent. Some sleep in deer stands in forests, and they were found on this January evening, and they received their referrals for housing and services. Volunteers from Dickinson College gave tents to the people who were outdoors that wanted them. The Housing Alliance of Pennsylvania reports that the U.S. data shows that the U.S. now has the greatest number of encampments of homeless people since the 1930s. So when we find folks in need in Upper Island Township or nationwide, we can call 211 24/7 and provide zip codes, and the folks can get referrals for local access to food, medical care, and housing service based on their zip code. So I just wanted to let you know about that, and that's all I had.
Yeah, a question, Karen. That's kind of stark reality. Well, so what night was it in January?
I think it was January 26th. I'm not sure, but it turned out this year it was on a Board of Commissioner meeting. I went last year with them.
And do you know how many of those 112 were in Upper Island, or is that not?
I don't have that.
Okay.
A lot of times people are in Carlisle Pike and cars, mothers with single kids might be in a car at a Walmart or something like that underneath the lights because it's safer for them there. And last year when I helped count, I went to all of our parks and it was snow and you could track. And at that time, I didn't find people in Upper Allen Township parks. I could say just from my little group that went out. But we do, from speaking with the police and things, occasionally find people, and they also give referrals for housing or services or places to go. And I had heard the complaint that today when we talked at the meeting, sometimes they dial 211, and based on the number of people available to listen, you might be on hold for a while until you get through. But that's a nationwide service like 911. It's 211 and it's 24/7. They also have a listening service when people call in case they're listening to see if they need to dispatch people that might be suicidal or something like that. So that's why they'll listen.
Not to prolong the discussion, but boy, this is stark news. So Chief Parsons, are without any specific confidential information, but are you aware or have we identified homeless folk in our township? Sorry.
No, currently, we don't have anybody known who's like in an encampment, long-term. We have had that in the past. And, eventually we find a place for them that's better.
Okay. No, I was just thinking that, again, not tonight, but maybe some of our nonprofit organizations and churches in the community should be aware of this issue, and maybe they could even assist. So for another discussion, but
yes,
thank you for your time.
Some of them are in this coalition and they are the ones that go out and look. Yeah, so a lot of them are in.
And I was going to make a similar connection for the public that we see as commissioners, we see the police reports, and I think they show a lot of economic distress in the community. I mean, I heard the first lady who spoke tonight about her, she's in the marketplace insurance. We know all that is hitting, and it's probably only going to get worse in the interim. And it's sad to see. It's the reality that's out there. That I remember Chief Parsons saying, one time, some of the things you see, you can never unsee. And I really appreciate, the effort you make, the humanity of it.
We encourage anybody in the community to join any reach out groups or come and speak with us. Our police blotter of incidents that we handle is on our website to give people an insight into the type of calls that we have to go to and handle. Maybe some people don't realize, but there certainly are people in need out here. And it's a tough time, and you can see it. But there's a lot of great resources, and those resources seem to have been increasing lately in terms of shelter for people. All of our officers go to crisis intervention training, which is 5 days. That's hosted at the Lower Allen Barn, put on by the county. But it's great training to deal with a variety of situations with people in a variety of circumstances, and they've all been trained on that. But we've really come a long way with policing and making sure people can get in contact with the services that are out there. So,
thank you. I believe there could be a need for an executive session to discuss some personnel and legal issues. So if we will, it's not an adjournment. What is it? An intermission of our meeting to be able to have an executive session, to move into executive session. So thank you for everyone who came out tonight.